Play Anarchy on the beat.
Hey PJ, where you at?
I'm right here, man. This is PJ, referee.
This Shutterworth, the GOAT artist, Soul Wars, representing that Ring Gang Radio. We break down fights, not contracts.
This is the eye test.
This is the eye test. Ring Gang
Radio. This is the eye test.
Yes. We back.
We 100% back. Arts and crafts and IT are back. In fact,
sir.
We're so focused on our crafts and IT and technical stuff, we're actually going to be talking about not even just specifically fights. We're talking about the Twins, the Charlos, the Lions. We just want to give a quick talk about how they did and the things that we noticed the main differences between the two.
We lion poaching tonight? Like we poaching or?
Captain Planet might come back up our ass, but otherwise, yes, we just might be. For the youngins, they may not get it. We're hanging around.
Y'all niggas gotta stop taking from Africa, man. Leave the animals alone, man.
T'Challa's gonna come in and whoop your ass.
For real. But alright, man, so let's start off with this Jermell Charlo versus Tony Harrison fight. And from the get-go, we knew Jermell's the favorite. There was little cherry picking going on, but Tony Harrison is skilled in game enough where it wasn't a complete showcase fight, but yeah, it was. It was. It wasn't on the lower end of the spectrum for a showcase, because there's been worse showcase fights, but it was a showcase fight.
Tony Harrison's good at one thing. He's good at fucking your shit up. He's there to fuck your day up. If you have a parade, he's there to put something in the way. And he did. Not in a one-sided manner, but he did enough. Not enough.
Right, so you have to
he did enough to make it annoying. So, for those who are unaware, there was a certain point I used to be a spoiler fighter, which means I will stall the fuck out of things. And I mean, I still do. But here's the biggest thing about it. The reason, especially how the fight kind of went the way it was, obviously for some people, depending how much you know, it doesn't look like much was going on. It's because Harrison is stupidly patient. He's the kind of man who will wait 3 minutes to throw 10 jabs. But the thing is, you probably haven't been able to land a single damn thing while he's been waiting to throw those 10 jabs. You might have thrown a power shot here or two, but then it makes the round really muddy, or you look so awkward that be like, yeah, one guy kind of looked in control. The issue with him is because he waits. I'm not going to say because he waits. He's just so patient. And instead of trying to do something else to fill in those gaps, Charlo is going to, no matter what happens, he's going to look like the guy initiating the fight. He may not land anything, but the thing is, he's pressing the fight to make what a fight happens, which I give him for, because if you're dealing with somebody who's willing to wait, you got to push something. But the other thing, which also showed, because it happened throughout the fight, and it really bugs me to say it every single time, but Harrison is very chinny. Like, outside of his recovery, he has the recovery of Bradley, but he has the chin of Amir Khan.
God damn. Nigga, you and these damn boxer hybrid
Am I wrong?
machine combinations you be coming up with. The fucking first it was the Postal is a great value Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko. Now
Am I wrong though?
Tony Harris, you're not wrong. I agree, because this is the thing with me with this whole fight. I get this whole spoiler routine shit Tony Harrison was doing, and the little feints, and just keeping Charlo, who's already a sporadic type of I'm looking for the knockout type of punter. Because Mel, let's just be honest. Mel was always looked as the boxer of the two out of the twins.
Yes.
But over some time, he started feeling himself and with those knockouts, and he's at this point where that's all he's gunning for. And Tony Harrison is more the natural puncher. You look at his record, and if you've seen his fights, he'll box and he'll put combos together. He'll knock you out. But just at the higher level, he's been fighting tougher guys, and that shit ain't been happening. But with this fight, it's like I've said before. Charlo, he gets caught up looking for the perfect shot. He's always trying to clip you, and he's not boxing to outbox you, and he's not boxing and moving his hands to rack up points or dominate rounds. He's just moving his hands really just to set up a knockout or to clip you. Mm-hmm. And it's like Harrison knew that, and he kind of chilled, but I felt like he chilled too much.
Yeah.
And so that's why we got a horrible ass fight like that. But Harrison, he kind of fought like a guy who was just doing everything he can to conserve energy and hear the final bell. Like, that's how it looked like to me.
I will hop in real quick because in certain exchanges, I think this is why he comes off looking that way. He banks on you stepping in. Like, anytime like he could predict when Charlo would step in, he would have good counters and leave something with something good. But as soon as they went back to the neutral again, he'd wait all over again. He's literally setting the trap in front of you, but you can see him setting it up. He's not hiding it. He's not filling it in with anything else. He's more or less banking on Charlo being impatient, which is kind of true. Because Jermell is kind of patient, but the thing is, that's like Harrison's more patient. So Mel's gonna be like, well, fuck it, I gotta do something. So when he decided to like
the mindset still changed though. That's why.
Hey,
Mel. Now that Mel knows he could knock these guys out, and he got a power. He has that power, and he's feared for that.
I'm gonna have to step in real quick.
I'm sorry.
Let me step in real quick for that. Yes, he's being known for KOs, but let's consider who he KO'd. Those last guys he KO'd. Just gonna pull them up real quick. Lubin was probably by like one of his best ones, but to be fair, Lubin walked into it. And if we look at some of the other guys, I'm fairly certain
it's not Charlo's fault.
It's not Charlo's fault, not at all. Which also means Charlo's really good at setting you up. So this is not a knock at Jermell. Let me not just say Charlo because we're gonna mix up the two. Let me not say it's a knock on Mel. Mel will set you up if you're stupid enough to do it. And Mel hides his intent really well if you don't pay attention. But the guys like he KO'd, Charles Hatley, you don't hear too much about Charles Hatley. He's kind of like middle of the road. And he has also been known to be a little chinny. And Hatley was doing pretty decent till Mel put him away. John Jackson, unfortunately, has the same problem that Julian has, which is he does not have the best chin in the world.
Right.
So
and all these guys were boxing on the level of Charlo. It's just Charlo. All of Charlo's pieces just add up to something greater.
Yeah, but also this is where we come to the next problem. And to be fair, this guy has always been a problem, but it says a lot. Austin Trout.
Right.
Austin Trout got clipped. Austin Trout still recovered, still came back. So it doesn't 100% mean that Mel is necessarily the greatest puncher. Not the greatest puncher, but he's that much more of a puncher. It's more so as the fight goes and can he set you up. I would rather say he's more of like a guy who can set you up into something, whereas his brother's more like the guy who can like hit you.
Yeah. See, Maul could just go in there and bang, and he'll box and bang you out.
Yeah.
Mel more the guy where he's more of a semi-aggressive counter puncher, boxer. But that's the thing. Like, if you see his earlier fights, before he started fighting the same type of guys, and those guys, I mean, are, let's be honest, you just named them all.
Mm-hmm.
Capable boxers that are in their prime, they're contenders, no doubt. but they're not the most durable cats. They're chinny, capable boxers.
Those last couple guys, but I guess if we were to look a little back for guys who we knew were capable,
that's where he got. But that's where he started getting those knockouts from. But if you look into Mel's earlier in his career, he was more of a boxer, and he was way more passive. He wasn't looking for the knockout like he is now. No. After these knockouts, dude, he like, even though he's patient, Mel still the energy in the ring. Like, if I could feel it through the TV, I know they could feel it in the ring. And I think that's the energy that was spooking Harrison and just making Harrison just wait. And okay, when the shot perfect, I'll catch him. And then, I'll slow it down. And it's almost like it was a half-ass silent agreement that Teddy Atlas and Roy Jones and all them used to talk about. That's what it felt like, because Harrison is like, niggas need to point out these fucking 7, 8, 9 rounds fucking Harrison's supposed to have won. If these people are talking about, well, okay, he won.
I have a feeling also, I think it's also because his last fight was a KO, so I think he was really concerned about that.
Right. He fought like a guy who was trying not to get KO'd, like. And it's like, to me, you can't win a championship like that. Like, yeah, Mel looked bad, and his flaws, I hate to use this word exposed, because sometimes we gotta just understand that boxers are who they are. They're just who they are. A lot of guys ain't gonna make a mid-career adjustment. They might get better, or they may tweak some things, but they're not just gonna turn shit around like that. And
I agree with you.
See that happen.
I wouldn't call this fight and something exposed. I think it's just a style fight. That's really all it was. It was just literally a style fight. It's just because
it was.
Because it's kind of like, because I'm going back here with the analogies again. It is kind of like Joshua and Parker.
Right.
One guy's being extremely cautious, which makes the other guy, who he has power, but he's been more of a boxer, be a little hesitant. It's just the heights and weights are similar, instead of like one guy like towering somebody else.
I mean, I feel you. With this style matchup, I just feel like it just made Jermell's flaws glare a little more, but I definitely agree with you. I wouldn't say he was exposed.
No, I wouldn't say either.
Stop throwing that word. You can't expose a motherfucker who, to me, who kind of done what Jermell did right now, like at this level.
No.
If he would have lost by now, I mean, there's people who thought he lost to Hopkins and Marioshin. But those were, yeah, Demetrius. Oh, yes, Demetrius Hopkins.
Like, don't just say Hopkins. Yeah. You're gonna make some people think otherwise.
I mean, look,
yo, Bernard.
If y'all niggas is boxing fans, and y'all been watching boxing, y'all know damn well what Hopkins I'm talking about. Just like with niggas, when you tell them, oh yeah, man, when Paul Williams had damn knocked out Matisse, and you was watching boxing, you knew what you fucking Matisse that is. But that's the thing. Those close fights with Jermell, those fights were closer than this fight with Harrison. It just makes me almost feel like this shit was just in the stars. Like,
the fight was closer, or you mean the rounds were closer?
Rounds in the fucking fight. Like, the Harrison fight wasn't really close like that. Like, honestly,
there were some rounds where I'd be like, neither guy really did much, so it'd be a bit of a toss-up. It's just, there's a certain habit that Mel has, which I don't know if some people, unless they really pay attention, when you know he's coming after you, he does a little hop when he does this 1-2.
Yeah, it's like he does that little hop, and it's like he wants to reset his position, and that's his fucking. It's like it's a fucking tip off. which is bad because he already telegraphs the right hand.
Yeah, because I'm like, unless that jab lands, you're gonna see that right hand coming a mile away.
Yeah, that little fucking hop he takes. Like he's like, aha, I got you. Like that's how that shit be looking, like low key. Like,
I've seen some people who are kind of like that. It's people who kind of like, they don't show it, but they kind of like dig the leg down a little too low for their own good. So when they want to get going, they hop up too much, even though they don't need to. They just need to lift their legs. They don't need to hop. They just need to lift their legs up. The catch is you can't come forward if you lift your legs up, because you're starting from like static to somewhere. So for him to like do the two together, he hops. So I honestly hope for Mel he fixes that before fighting Hurd.
I want to hop into a Hurd uppercut.
Yeah, he's gonna hop into a lot of Hurd stuff. Uppercut, body shot, things like that. As much as
hopped his ass into a bad decision, like honestly, me personally, I feel like the fight's a fucking robbery. Like,
to me, I think the definition of robbery is a little
more
finicky.
than 5 rounds.
Robbery is a little finicky to me because I've heard the term robbery used for multiple fights, even though there's some fights where people may say it's a robbery, even though it was just a competitive fight. So to me, a robbery is when I think like you can clearly tell the judge is giving a really funky scorecard, or one guy clearly gave the beating for the majority of the fight. Not that they woke up at a later half, because then it's gonna be muddy. If somebody can make your fight muddy, then I can't really knock the judges.
But all robberies are not created equal. I'll just say that. Like I don't think there's a.
Oh, I agree. We can agree to disagree then.
No. The reason I'm saying is because each fight has its own circumstance. Each fight has its own agenda. Yeah, you got to look at the style. Like, let me say this. Like, if we're talking about robberies here, Pacquiao Bradley 1 isn't the same type of robbery as Canelo Golovkin 1, but both fights are robberies.
Yeah, the criteria is different, but they do fall into the category.
So that's all I'm saying. With this fight, like Jermell and Harrison, like it's not the type of robbery like where I'm gonna sit there and be like, okay, this was on some fucking Beltran Ricky Burns type of robbery, or Pacquiao Bradley 1, or Pacquiao fucking Jeff Horn, like I could just name robberies, but to me, I feel like it's a clear where
okay, let's
the guy who won. If the guy who won the fight, if you can't post if there's not a string of rounds, or if he can't win, if he hasn't won more than 5 rounds, like I just want to know, like where did these rounds fucking Harrison won for people to justify this shit? Like, and niggas ain't even saying like draw, like, okay, man, you know, they could have said draw. Niggas is like full blown, like, yeah.
Okay,
like,
so
yeah. 116, 112.
Let's just expand that a little bit real quick here. So in the first 6 rounds, which rounds would you say Mel won definitively, and why?
Damn, hold on now. Nigga, I'm not looking at the motherfucking fight right now. Hold on.
Okay, no, but I mean, like, if you were to like gauge it, I don't need you to ask like gauge it.
I see where you're going with this, and we gotta do it. We gotta do it. Basically,
we'll probably have to make a special episode.
yeah, for that is a special episode with about like just generally looking and scoring fights. And you're not doing it.
We have ridiculous back burner for that. Then, so we have the first Canelo Golovkin fight. We have older fights than that. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Maybe let's not talk about that right now. Let's just move on.
No. I get what you're saying, but like, just to make it brief, I would say out of the first fucking 6 rounds, I felt like Mel took maybe 4 of those. I didn't get the feeling that Harrison. Yeah, and these were kind of these nip and tuck. You had a few nip and tuck rounds, but
is it
I just felt like you said,
Harrison felt a little more scary than.
Yeah, and Harrison hurt Mel, like he buzzed him. So it's not like he showed he could punch and do something offensively in the fight. It just, he didn't take enough chances. He didn't. I just felt like you can have competitive rounds, but if you're making someone miss more, but they're still throwing more than you and still landing more than you, it's like if they're throwing more than you, of course they're gonna miss more than you.
Yeah.
The key is not to have them outland you. And for Mel, as bad as he looked with his whole seek and destroy, I'm just waiting to run you into a banger, he still just did a little bit more where I'm saying, okay, he's controlling the fight. He don't have it under complete control, but he's kind of controlling this shit. That's how I look at the fight. As if we're talking just rounds and skill wise and shit, that's how I look at it. That's my final thought on that shit.
Okay. That's very interesting. But otherwise,
okay. How many rounds you felt Harrison won or Mel won in the first half?
That Harrison won in the first half?
Or Mel, like, what did you have it? You had it even? You had it 5-1 with 4-2?
I had the complete opposite of you, actually. I thought
Harrison winning 4-2.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought, because I felt that Mel took too long to get going. In the second half, you could see he got going. Because the thing is, to me, especially because of those pops he has, it was too clear he was trying to do something early. And even though Harrison looked a little kind of like, oh shit, let me get out of the way, it became a little too obvious, like, okay, you're banking on this shit. What I still say, what made some of those rounds a bit of a toss-up is anytime that Mel touched him, he wobbled, which really bothered me. That's why I made that analogy saying, like, he wobbles like Khan, but he recovers like Bradley.
Yeah, because you could clearly see the force of the punches. Like, anytime...
there was one that was like a glancing shot, and it still wobbled him. I'm just like, nah, that's not force. That's just the chin.
You took the words out of my mouth, because even the fight, the punches didn't even have to land clean. They could just be on his guard. And this nigga would go stumbling back 3 and 4 feet and shit. I'm like, God damn. Like,
I had to double check a couple of times, but there were a couple of times where I thought he was chinny, but then I realized his feet moves too much.
That too, he got the same fucking Khan mistake.
At least Khan, like, whether it's chin or feet. With Harrison, you couldn't tell. It could be either or. Because sometimes, like, you can clearly see he blocked it, but if you watch his feet, he's clearly not in position to properly block. His upper body understands, but his lower body is doing something else at that moment.
So if you look at his body as a whole,
he's the kind of guy
only half of it is really taking the force.
Yeah, so he's the kind of guy who, and I understand kind of people like this, they know so much about, like, what they could do, but the thing is, they try and do too many things at once. So the two options they pick do not complement each other. So then they look worse than they actually are. Like, they're not hurt. It's just because their feet weren't there when they needed them to be. Because people don't realize, hey, here's a fun fact in boxing. Your feet are actually the shock absorbers, not your upper body and your arms. The shock has to go somewhere. So make sure your feet are secure before you do anything else. That's why the really good defensive guys, even though the guys you don't know about, like Emmanuel Augustus, he will keep his feet settled. He'll move his upper body somewhere. When he thinks he can move, he'll move somewhere else. He's not going to do one or the other, so pick.
That's why footwork is so important in boxing. And you can clearly see
add one
it.
extra thing about footwork. Footwork's not just about moving; it's also about where you place your feet.
Yeah, because that goes into your stance.
Yeah, people don't understand that. There's some people who don't fully understand it for footwork. Footwork, people in some people's head means how do I move? How do I get around? How do I dance around? Not
It goes
how do
into
I
your
secure my
stance and how you can place punches. People always try to imitate the shoulder roll, but they think it's just the top half of your body. It's really the placement of your feet and your hips.
Yeah,
and moving the whole body. But if you squared up trying to do that shit and just moving your upper body, yeah, I think it's gonna clock you.
Yeah, but otherwise, that's kind of how it goes through. But otherwise, we'll need to do more detail into it to that undecided episodes when we do. But let's go into the more complete Charlo. Maul.